They said no one could hear the wind. To most people, it was nothing more than air moving through the trees, sometimes calm, sometimes fierce, but always silent. Yet, there was once a boy who not only heard it, but spoke to it. And that boy's life was never the same again. His name was Eli. He lived in a small, forgotten village surrounded by green hills and tall forests. From the day he could walk, Eli was different. While the other children played games, chasing each other through the fields, Eli would often wander away on his own, sitting quietly by the riverbank or lying beneath the tallest tree, eyes fixed on the clouds. The villagers whispered about him. "Strange boy," they said. "He talks to himself. He never plays. He's lost in his imagination." But Eli wasn't lost. He was listening. When the wind brushed against the trees, he felt something in its sound. Not just noise, but meaning. When it whistled through the cracks of the old houses at night, he thought it was carrying secrets from far away. And when it blew gently across his face on a warm afternoon, it felt like comfort, like a mother's touch, tender and reassuring. He tried to tell people, "Don't you hear it? The wind is speaking." But they laughed. "Wind is just wind, Eli. Stop talking nonsense." Years passed and Eli grew lonelier. One evening, after another day of feeling invisible, he climbed the tallest hill above the village. The sky was painted with orange and gold as the sun slipped away. The breeze swirled around him, playful and alive. Tears filled his eyes, and he cried out into the empty air, "Oh wind, why am I always alone? Why does no one listen to me? Please, if you can hear me, answer." First silence. But then, something changed. The air shifted, the trees seemed to still, and the breeze that touched his skin didn't feel ordinary. It circled him, like arms wrapping around his shoulders. And then he heard it. A voice, soft, gentle, but clear. "Eli, you are not alone." His breath caught. His knees trembled. He looked around, but no one was there. Yet the voice continued, "I am the wind. I have always been near, but few humans ever stop to listen. You, child, carry an open heart. You feel what others ignore. And because you have listened, I will share my wisdom with you." From that day forward, Eli was never the same. Whenever he returned to the hill, the wind spoke. It told him stories from places he had never seen. Deserts where the air burned like fire, oceans where waves rose like mountains, frozen lands where silence ruled. The wind had traveled everywhere, and now it poured its knowledge into the boy's heart. It taught him patience. Even the smallest breeze, over time, shapes the hardest rock. Taught him courage. Even when the world is heavy, I keep moving, and so must you. It taught him humility. I am powerful yet unseen. Strength does not always roar. Eli listened, and slowly his heart began to change. He stopped feeling bitter about being different. Instead, he felt chosen. Years rolled by and Eli grew into a young man. The villagers still mocked him, until something strange began to happen. When the rains delayed and the farmers grew desperate, Eli said, "Plant near the river. The soil there is ready." They laughed at him, but those who listened harvested plenty. When the skies turned dark and the air grew heavy, Eli warned, "Stay indoors tonight. The storm will be strong." And the storm came exactly as he said. When travelers asked which path was safe through the forest, Eli pointed the way, and none who followed were ever lost. The villagers began to notice. "How does he know these things?" they whispered. "Is he blessed? Is he cursed? Or is it true? Does he really hear the wind?" One by one, they began to come to him, first in secret, then openly. The old asked for guidance, the young asked for courage, and even the leaders sought his advice before making decisions. And every time, Eli smiled humbly and said, "I do not speak alone. I only share what I have heard from the wind." But Eli never revealed all of it, because the greatest secret the wind taught him wasn't about storms, or crops, or safe paths. It was about life itself. One evening, as Eli stood on the hill, the wind whispered, "Eli, remember this. People search for wisdom in books, in crowds, in noise, but wisdom often hides in silence. Those who rush never find it. Only those who wait, listen, and open their hearts can truly hear it. And so, Eli's greatest gift was not that he spoke to the wind. It was that he learned to be still enough to listen. When Eli grew older, a traveler from a distant town approached him. "Tell me, wise man," the traveler said, "how can I gain wisdom like you?" Eli took him up the hill. The sun was setting, and the air moved softly around them. Eli placed a hand on the traveler's shoulder and said, "Sit here, be still. Do not shout louder than the world. Listen deeper than the world. Wisdom is not given to the one who speaks the most, but to the one who listens the best." The traveler sat. The wind brushed against his cheek, and for the first time in his life, he heard something beyond himself. And so the boy who once felt invisible became known everywhere as the boy who spoke to the wind. But the truth was greater. He was not simply a boy who spoke. He was the boy who listened, and in his listening, he found the kind of wisdom that echoes forever.